Hello, it's a lovely good evening and welcome to all viewers around Zambia and around the world to present Camnet Television News. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Our top stories in the news tonight: LUAPULA province small-scale farmers plead for a mango processing plant. Government urged to enhance policies that will help the vulnerable in society. Zambia's official creditors agreed to provide financing assurances. In international news, 3 of Nigeria's Chibok girls abducted, found years after their abduction. And in sports news, Zambia booted out of the CHAN qualifiers after losing to Mozambique.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
Hello again, another news in detail. Some families in Lusaka's Lilanda compound are living in dire poverty, stating that they sometimes eat only one meal a day, consisting only of nshima with vegetables, while going to bed hungry at times. In an interview with Camnet News, one of the women, Ms. Janala Muntanga, says it is therefore imperative for the current administration to enhance policies that will uplift the living standards of the most vulnerable in society. Meanwhile, Civil Society for Poverty Reduction CSPR Zambia Programs Manager Eddie Musosa says only a strong political will can help the country arrive towards its 2030 Agenda #1 of eradicating poverty. More in this report.
Lack of easy access to 3 decent meals a day negatively affects the health of individuals and reduces their productivity levels. Decent food is therefore considered as a basic human right and not a want. Poverty levels in Zambia are, however, prevalent, especially in slums commonly known as shanty compounds, mainly owing to high unemployment levels, as most of these were formed through rural-urban migration. Camnet News took time to find out how communities are living as a measure on whether Zambia is on the right track towards achieving United Nations 2030 Sustainable Development Goal #1, which aims at eradicating poverty.
Daba mwamene tinkalira penango mwadya kufika kumazuro limbigulide so mamene kwachera pano vokudya tilipe mwaiwana vantu wa mulungu so tipe mpako government itikireko nzeru tapapata kuvutika so chapi kuvutika nakwira kuyaka so chapi mwana nilibe okhala nako nikovutikira zakudya nazo nezovuta kutengeze pesa ija kwati pena kuna mena kwa nyumba bafuna no mchosali mnyumba but kama nao socha pena socha bati mwankala hapa malamulia hapa malamulia ndiye makaido yakaina ndiye makaido yakaina kai muza tape na wewe bali wa nyumba wacha ni business sipanga zikusunga tinda baona ferewa ni business manje kai muzi wa mundu ngati mwana sa chita maningi pamene achoka sa chita bwino vija na kuutani ku skulu mind ingala disturbed maona sanga chite bwino so ngati ankala bwino mwana na ku skulu kuja pamene aenda vintu vimangala bwino.
Meanwhile, Civil Society for Poverty Reduction CSPR Zambia Programs Manager Eddie Musosa says only the formulation of strong policies will help Zambia reach this goal.
Our target as a country should be to lift more people out of the extreme poverty bracket, and then at the same time we must see to it that the poor are adequately involved in the design of these policies. Government must increase its current commitment to social protection beyond the slightly above 1 million target that we have.
He therefore says provision of 3 decent meals a day for all citizens should be the priority of the current administration. Zipora Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Advocacy for Child Justice says it is elated to learn that the Children's Code Bill 2022 passed the third reading stage in Parliament last Friday and is awaiting presidential assent. Advocacy Executive Director Josephat Njovu says his institutions believe that the development is a huge milestone that deserves to be celebrated, considering the decision has taken 17 years to materialize. Mr. Njovu says he is confident with the coming of this law, Zambia will be a safer place for children and a better country for them to grow and achieve their dreams. He says he is hopeful that Zambia's President Hakainde Hichilema will in a like manner show political will by assenting to the bill soon.
Child Justice is so excited to hear that the Children's Code Bill has passed the third reading in Parliament, and we want to commend the parliamentarians for the political will that they have shown. We encourage all other stakeholders to rally behind this bill to make sure that it is actually implemented to the fullest. And we know that His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zambia, Hakainde Hichilema, won't even take a lot of time to assent to this bill and to make it into law. So we commend the government, we commend everybody else who has actually rallied behind this bill, and we now wait for the assenting of the document.
A climate change advocate, Inga Jacobs, says farmers in Zambia need to be equipped with technologies and policy instruments that take into account their specific needs in the face of climate change. In an interview, the climate change advocate says building climate resilience is an urgent issue for smallholder farmers and agribusinesses as they increasingly need to counter seen and unseen climate resilience. She has further emphasized the need for the private sector to play its part too by educating farmers on climate-smart agriculture.
Then, of course, IMI focuses on science that delivers a water-secure world. So we have multiple projects that we've implemented or are implementing in Zambia at the moment. One of them being our big ICRA project, accelerating impacts of CGIAR's climate research in Africa. ICRA focuses on scaling climate smart agriculture and enhancing the delivery of climate information services. There's also a whole host of other initiatives and projects that we are implementing, some focusing on climate adaptation, others focusing on plant health, others focusing on digital technologies, but all in this attempt to have more concentrated effort on science in Zambia.
Small-scale farmers of LUAPULA province have called on government to consider setting up a mango processing plant in the province, saying thousands of mangoes go to waste every year. Speaking at the ongoing 94th Agriculture and Commercial Show in Lusaka, Agnes Chongo says the setting up of a mango processing plant will not only create employment opportunities, but also create a market for the locals to sell their mangoes. And another small-scale farmer, Esther Mambwe, has appealed to the government and other stakeholders to consider empowering them with the right equipment so that they can begin to add value to their produce. More in this report.
Agriculture and Commercial Show currently underway in Lusaka was Saturday a hive of activities with thousands of people, including children, flocking to the showgrounds to have a glimpse of many performances and exhibitions currently taking place. While agriculture has remained Zambia's backbone of development, many agriculture produce have been going to waste due to lack of proper storage equipment and technologies that speak to value addition. These small-scale farmers from LUAPULA province say they have the capacity to produce more agriculture products if supported with the right equipments.
Kulima, tulalima. Kuminwefye nenka sufena nkuse kuilani kuminwefye. So ifo tulafuayo uwafurisho wa matrakta. Na ifo tulelima kwa mwangu. Ifi kulu, if sonso tulelima kwa maikta engi. Dionse fye minwefye fwo tubonfye fyo kulali mafene minwe. So the
women have also told this reporter that fruits in the area goes to waste and have called on the government to set up a fruit processing plant.
Kwa business ya makota pela ngamwai mona twalikuwa tamakota pela yengi bati tatwa kwa tamaike tsoko kwa kushitisha so filona ikefingi elo tulafwaya ama mango ya lifula nomba tu yapwira fye mukona ikafye panshi ngamwafisanga techimutemwe nokutemwa nomba ngachako achinaba tuletera ko buteko batuletera ko company yakwa chitulepanga kwa ma drinks abantu tulepanga kutulechitisha nishikuti twakwata olupio lwingi
anga nyefifi bolaba mango finshi fira sangwa kulwapula romanga twabika pamusebwa amamoto katatukwata nomanga chakukira bale tupera ko bwafiricho bakuchama moto kayale isafiri afine bwangu batusenda ko kuti tulesa mwe fintu ifituntu bana mayo nifo tuingabombesha sana bantu bana mayo elingi nifo tusangwa nabana pamayanda.
For this farmer, she says she is able to make cooking oil using groundnuts and pumpkin seeds using the traditional method of hand pounding, which she says is a lot of work, but that if supported with the right machinery, production would definitely sky up.
Mufuire mwaikata pambala la shirenga salad ngashayenga salad mufuire nomba mwafunya mwabika muibende kubonfya fyo tumeshu tulio chele mulio tunono twakaba pauti chikamba ntane chimpondwa kwamba ko kutwa chapangike chimpondwa kwamba okufina salad ifuminomu emo ifumina nakairi kunse keshafi push ifyo tupanga tulapanga kona kwena salad ile moneka ngefi I salad ni nani nga meda 5 kg iya fipush eifunya salad.
In LUAPULA province, Agriculture Communications Officer says the district has great potential to produce agriculture products, considering that it has a good rainfall pattern and vast land, therefore calling on more investment in the province.
There's also an issue of mechanization that we are looking into as compared to hand-hoe production of various crops in the province. At least when you are using hand-hoe, you are limited in terms of area under cultivation that you cultivate.
With the United Party for National Development UPND administration emphasizing the need for value addition, supporting small-scale farmers like these ones with the right farming tools and equipment will fulfill the plans of Zambia becoming a breadbasket of Africa. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The Yam and Tubers Women Cooperative in Lusaka has called on government and stakeholders to help them secure enough land to grow yam on a large scale. In an interview with Camnet News, cooperative chairperson Mary Njovu says yam is a drought-resistant plant. If well managed, can be the next Zambia's staple food. Ms. Njovu says the cooperative is currently growing yam, which is being used for making mealie meal, flour and chips, among other things. And cooperative member Agnes Mwale says yam is a profitable crop which should be commercialized in the country. More in this report.
While maize has in a long time remained Zambia's staple food, with huge investment being pumped into the sector, climate change, on the other hand, is threatening the growth of maize, which calls for the country to look to other crops that are weather resistant. The Yam and Tubers Women Cooperative in Lusaka has since embarked on the growing of yam, which they say is a more nutritious crop than maize and has many economic benefits. The women, who are currently exhibiting at the 94th Agriculture and Commercial Show in Lusaka, say they are currently adding value to the yam by frying it, pounding it into mealie meal, flour, as well as making scones, which they are currently selling to the public.
Ni chiteni ni ndio songa tulibe milisi tunashange milisi yamu unga wa yamu na matepo ya yamu wapanga ndio nasima bana baje sababu na njala sasa tunakamba cha isema yamu and Tubers Women tenti angane pa kadiedwe.
The women, however, say they are only growing yam on a small scale and have called on the government and other stakeholders to help them with enough land so that they can commercialize the growing of yam.
Temper government as Yam and Tubers Women atitenzeko land permitting azishanga mayams matubers yana food security batandizike bantu because ivi vitu mashanga chabe kuli fertilizer vantu vambinga talibe fertilizer kuza tisina limit no chaga ni fertilizer but ivi matubers ivi ni kushanga chabe organically.
And a cooperative member, Agnes Mwale, tells this reporter that she decided to venture in the yam business after realizing that it has more profit than maize and that she does not require a lot of efforts in growing it.
Nobunga kuti mwana yobwali ubunga bwa mayamzi fingi na tobwa tulepika no munko yote fyonse fyefyo tuchita kumataba na kumayamzi efyo tuchita ifo tulelomba kufe kubuteko bwa isobu tulemona kwati na bukwata makasana tulelomba kwenchende ya kulima amayamzi kakwati fye chili bale chikulu ero tulelomba kona mashine aya kugayo obunga.
Nigeria is a good example of an African country which has commercialized yam to become the country's staple food. With climate change now becoming a major problem in the world, Zambia will have to look to other crops as their next staple food. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The Energy Regulation Board Consumer Affairs Manager Chipambesa Sise has described the 2022 Agricultural and Commercial Show theme, which is Innovation Through Technology. Technology transforms businesses, as timely for the board. Mr. Sise notes that it is timely as it speaks to the regulation's mandate of streamlining services online, making it possible for the consumers to engage ERB on time. He says the board is alive to the needs of the people and are responding with technological needs by dealing with the challenges consumers are facing.
In line with this year's theme of innovation through technology, technology transforms businesses. The ERB is showcasing the management information system, basically which provides our stakeholders, which include consumers and licensees, a platform to launch or to submit applications online, and also for the consumers, we're giving them a platform on which to lodge or submit their complaints regarding the provision of energy products and services. So this year's theme is very apt for the Energy Regulation Board in that we're directly responding to some of the challenges that our stakeholders go through in terms of making payments for their returns. That's for existing licensees. And then also, like I've already mentioned, for our consumers, we're making it easier for them at a click of a button to submit a complaint, be it on load shedding, be it on delayed service connection. And then for licensees, potential investors in the energy sector, we know that those investors cannot just be present in Lusaka or any of our offices dotted around the country, but they're also in far-flung places. Now we're giving them an opportunity to streamline the process by making these services available online. So as a regulator for the energy sector, we're very much alive.
Zambia's official creditors, led by China and France, have agreed to provide financing assurances the country has been waiting for to secure final approval from the International Monetary Fund for a $1.4 billion United States bailout package under the Extended Credit Facility, ECF. The Official Creditor Committee for Zambia met on Monday, the 18th of July 2022, and provided financing assurances based on Zambia's request for debt treatment under the G20 Common Framework. And IMF Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva says the delivery of these financing assurances will enable the IMF Executive Board to consider approval of a fund-supported program for Zambia and unlock much-needed financing from Zambia's development partners. Ms. Georgieva says the support for the G20 Common Framework demonstrates that international partners are coming together to help countries resolve their debt issues, thereby sending a strong signal to other countries looking to restore debt sustainability, achieve sustainable growth and poverty reduction. And Zambia's Finance Minister Dr. Stumbeko Msokotwane, in a statement made available to the media, says Zambia remains committed to implementing the much-needed economic reforms, being transparent about the debt and ensuring fair and equitable treatment of the creditors. The Zambezi River Authority, ZRA, has pledged to continue engaging Siavunga Town Council in the implementation of its emergency response and preparedness plans regarding the Kariba Dam rehabilitation project. The authority has further pledged to continue with its corporate social responsibility programs, including those implemented under the Zambezi Valley Development Fund, adding that the Council has been very instrumental in the implementation process. ZRA Chief Executive Engineer Munyaradzi Munodawafa was speaking during a familiarization tour by the Council on the progress of the Kariba Dam rehabilitation project in Siavonga. And Siavonga Town Council Secretary Jolwe Maunga has appealed to ZRA to help the Council in networking with other contractors that are working on the Kariba Dam rehabilitation project to see how they can work with the local authority on aspects that have to do with construction as part of their corporate social responsibility. This is according to a statement issued to Camnet TV by Siavonga Town Council Public Relations Officer Gwendoline Mchenga.
Support, and we really hope that this will continue. Despite our failures here and there, you have not, Chairman, you have not forsaken us. So we want to thank you very much for that. And because we are also citizens, at one time or another, we are also in our own capacity as residents. We are part of your constituency.
Already you have the resources to do with any aspect of construction. That is holistically as a team. When you look at the works that the local authority does in terms of construction of roads, many things that we need to do. I believe every one of these companies has an aspect of corporate social responsibility. I would be glad if you could help me lobby to say that component, if they could see how they can help the local authority in terms of working on our roads and other aspects. Because I believe even if they couldn't donate money or human resource in terms of labor, but they could donate materials.
This is Camnet News. We take our first break. We'll be back with more news after the break.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
The Agriculture and Commercial Show is back, bigger and better under the theme Innovation Through Technology. And as Camnet TV, we are here to transform your business through our technology. Advertise with us on discounted rates during the month of July and during the Agriculture and Commercial Show. Special price package for live stunt interviews, on-screen product placement during the coverage of the show. For more details, call the following numbers. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back. We'll continue with the news. Zambia National Service ZNS Chief of Health Services Brigadier General Ernest Chisoko has reminded officers on the need to stay away from active politics in the face of political rivalry currently happening, stating that their duty is to serve any government of the day to the best of their ability. He says the service will not hesitate to part ways with anyone who decides to abrogate the ethics of the service by being partisan or behaving in a disorderly manner. The Brigadier General was speaking when addressing the officers of Intake 2012 who were celebrating 10 years of unbroken service Friday night. More in this report.
It was a moment of jubilation as Zambia National Service ZNS officers Intake 03 of 2012 celebrated a decade of unbroken national service Friday night. ZNS Chief of Health Services Brigadier General Ernest Chisoko took time to remind the officers that it is only through their hard work that they have managed to remain in service, urging them to remain non-partisan.
Even as the right to political business, you are all aware that members of the defense, we are not supposed to engage in active politics. Support the government of the command will therefore facilitate practical with anyone who is found wanting in this area. And I think the teacher also invited guests. I remind that if there is a risk,
he has also called on them to make themselves familiar with the core values of the service, namely infrastructure development and food security through production. Meanwhile, ZNS Intake Chairperson Colonel Wamunyima Chingombe has also added his voice.
The institution we belong to plays a pivotal role in the development of our country. It is our desire as officers under your command to value your vision and effectively contribute to the development agenda of Zambia.
The officers have also been directed to guide the juniors on the path of national service. Zipora Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Disability People's Organization DPO Secretary Gabriel Inasho says the employment of all persons with disabilities who met the minimum requirement under the recruitment of 11,276 health workers shows the current administration's commitment to bridging inequalities. In an interview, Mr. Inasho adds that the employment will further encourage other people from this group to attain an education, unlike in the past where most of them were left out, hence demoralizing the rest. He has further urged new recruits to perform beyond expectations as one way of proving that they too are capable of conducting various tasks. Minister of Information and Media Chushika Sanda on Thursday announced the recruitment of all 16 persons with disabilities who met the minimum requirements under recruitment of 11,276 health workers.
I'm here standing on behalf of my fellow disabled here as a group of DPOs. We are like to congratulate to His Excellency Mr. Hakainde Hichilema for the work so far he has done to recruit persons with disability in the healthy sector. So we are really congratulating him for the work he has done so far. Is what we want, as throughout the whole country, we are here to stand and congratulating him. Because when we see so many years past, person with disabilities, there was left behind. And so far for the new Dawn government has come in now, they have started now inclusive or including person with disability in the government or in the sectors, different sectors. So we are really appreciate on that program, sir.
The Zambia National Education Coalition ZANEC Executive Director George Hamusunga says the current infrastructure in schools is not conducive for teachers with disabilities, hence creating challenges in mobility. In an interview, Mr. Hamusunga notes that with the recruitment of teachers with disabilities under the recent 30,000 teacher recruitment exercise, there is need for infrastructure in schools to be re-looked at. 196 teachers with disabilities were recently employed into the civil service under the recruitment of 30,496 teachers.
Investing in inclusive education is very, very important. And the premise for inclusive education is that a child, wherever they are, should have the, the leverage to go to the nearest school, despite their ability or disability. And there they will be assessed. After being assessed, they will receive the right support that they need for education. So what we are asking for this new government really is that they need to ensure that they invest in inclusive education so that we can, give these opportunities also to our children with special education needs.
You're watching Camnet TV and not just another channel. We'll be back with international and sports news after this break.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
The Agriculture and Commercial Show is back bigger and better under the theme Innovation Through Technology. And as Camnet TV, we are here to transform your business through our technology. Advertise with us on discounted rates during the month of July and during the Agriculture and Commercial Show. Special price package for live stunt interviews, on-screen product placement during the coverage of the show. For more details, call the following numbers. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
And now in international news, 8 years after they were abducted from their school dormitory, 3 of the Chibok girls have been rescued by the Nigerian army. They are part of the 276 schoolgirls kidnapped by the jihadist group Boko Haram in the northeastern town of Chibok. At a press conference held by the Borno Regional Army, the now adult women could be seen along with their young children. Out of the 276 girls abducted in 2014, 57 have been able to escape and 80 have been freed in exchange for Boko Haram leaders. But according to the authorities, 100 are still missing. For more in international news, here's a roundup.
8 years after they were abducted from their school dormitory, 3 of the CHIBOK girls have been rescued by the Nigerian army. They're part of the 276 schoolgirls kidnapped by the jihadist group Boko Haram in the northeastern town of Chibok. At a press conference held by the Borno Regional Army, the now adult women could be seen along with their young children.
These girls were Ruth Bitrus, Kauna Luka and Anatu Musa. All of them were rescued by troops of 21 Special Armored Brigade after clearance operations that created the enabling environments for these girls to escape from their captors.
Out of the 276 girls abducted in 2014, 57 have been able to escape and 80 have been freed in exchange for Boko Haram leaders. But according to the authorities, 100 are still gone missing. In captivity, many of these women were forced to convert to Islam and marry members of the jihadist group. At the Fan Hospital in Dakar, a special department provides an opioid substitution therapy program to drug addicts. Commonly called PLEAD, it is a drop-in clinic aiming to reduce the spread of HIV, as opioids are pain-relieving drugs, often linked to needle sharing and unprotected sex, both high-risk factors for HIV. 250 people are currently following the treatment. Methadone is a medicine that acts as a heroin substitute. In our case, it's a syrup dosed in 10 milligrams per milliliter portions. Doses vary from patient to patient. In Senegal, people who inject drugs are 4 times more likely to get HIV. More than 3/4 of PLEAD patients are men, but the centre has been reaching out to women as HIV prevalence is higher among them. I go into the community and visit my peers to raise awareness about getting off drugs and reducing their use. I address them to PLEAD so they can, like me, stop drugs. The centre also offers psychosocial support, encourages professional development and organises courses such as making soap painting and gardening. Gardening is a type of therapy. When we're here, we forget about our problems. In a report published this week, UNAIDS pressed governments to act more against HIV. The international organisation said policies had failed to progress because of the COVID pandemic.
Ending AIDS would cost much less money than not ending AIDS. Importantly, the actions needed to end AIDS are also key for overcoming other pandemics.
UNAIDS launched this report just before the opening of the International AIDS Conference in Canada, which will run until August 2nd.
It's now time for sports news. The Zambia national team has been knocked out of the CHAN qualifiers in a 1-0 aggregate score. The match played at Hero Stadium in Lusaka saw Mozambique carry the day by 2-0. At a post-match second address to the media for the Algeria 2023 second leg qualifier, Aliosa Asanovic described the loss as unfortunate. He says the boys tried to score and gave it their all and that it was just not their day. Early this month, Zambia played to a goalless draw in the opening 2023 African Nations Championship CHAN qualifiers first leg encounter against Mozambique. The first leg played at the Do Zimpento Stadium had seen both teams settle for a barren draw in a fixture that was tightly contested.
We tried to score the goal, but after 6-7 chances, if you want to score the goal, sometimes in football it's punishing. It's punishing in the second half. Really, after that, everybody is disappointed. Also in me, I am disappointed. Disappointing about the results, I am not disappointed how it is the reaction of my players. Because our players, or my players, he give 100%. He give the energy, he give the quality, but the football is played for the score the goal and win the game. Unfortunately today we are not the win the game, but for future we have the great generation. We have the great players, and I think so, or I'm sure, we are for the next competition will be more focused to score more goals.
To end Camnet television news, the headlines once again. LUAPULA province small-scale farmers plead for a mango processing plant. Government urged to enhance policies that will help the vulnerable in society. Zambia's official creditors agree to provide financing assurances. In international news, 3 of Nigeria's CHIBOK girls abducted found years after their abduction. And in sports news, Zambia booted out of the CHAN qualifiers after losing to Mozambique. We now look at the Camnet verse of the day, which is coming from Matthew 5, verse 14 to 16. You are the light of the world. Let your light shine before men that they may see your good deeds and praise your Father in heaven. Thank you once again for watching the news. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Good night.